is it. Punk, Batman, Nicolas Cage. Oh yeah. This is it. This is the final movie I need to review so I can finally do the 2021 ranking. 8 months, 16 days late. But I'm here. Alright? I'm gonna do it. Got this last review to do, and I'm done. Alright? So we have Occupation Rainfall. Directed by the same guy who did the first one. A few members of the cast come back, but some are missing. Notably, Albert and the bum guy are not mentioned at all. And they're not there. I don't know. Maybe they died. Who knows? But, yeah. So the story here is that it's 2 years later and our survivors are still fighting hand in hand with some aliens, although there is some problems we'll get to. And then eventually Matt leads a ragtag group, and they find out from Kenji Young of all people about Project Rainfall, which is a giant meteor comet thing that the aliens are going to use to hit Earth, you know, and remake it so that they can live and all the humans will be gone. So, yeah. That's our story. So this was good. I did like the first one better. I don't know. There was one big thing about this film that pissed me off because it feels like we don't need this. It's the same reason that I have problems with zombie movies, because, I'll go out and say it, they feel the need to insert a human antagonist. Now, zombie movies I can see, you know, for the most part, zombies, they're soulless, they move around. A human antagonist can work, and has worked. Day of the Dead, which, in my opinion, is the best of the Romero movies, does it very well. You want that guy to die. But here, maybe they were going for that with this character of Commander Hayes, played by Daniel Gillies. Well, I've seen him in other stuff. He's great. And he's great in this role. You hate him. It's like Kevin Bacon in They/Them. You want him to die. He does. But I don't think, especially when you have an evil head of the aliens, like this female leader of theirs, that, you know, is heading this, and you have these aliens that want to take over this planet, you don't need a human antagonist. Now, the antagonism in the first film worked because it was mostly just bickering among the people, you know, in that kind of situation. It happens. This is, he's in the military, you know? You know? And this series goes from being Night of the Living Dead to Day of the Dead without even doing Dawn of the Dead. Although I don't know how you could do something like that in this franchise. But or in this series, they set up for more. This movie heads on a cliffhanger, just so you know. And they are working on another one. And it's very interesting how this movie ends as a title drop. And it's like at the end of It, the 2017 It, where it says It Chapter 1. And it's like, oh, this one ends with, I'll just go ahead and say Rainfall Chapter 1. And it's like, oh, so there's more. Okay. I'm up for it. They get around to doing it. Apparently they're in active development, so I like to see it, you know. But yeah, there's no mention of Albert the bum or the baby, despite the fact that they go to where the family's living, and they don't really show the baby. Maybe it's there. I don't know. Maybe it's like a quick, I don't know. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and talk about my biggest problem with this. I can talk about all the positive stuff. So like I said, Hayes, he's the worst thing in this movie. But he's one of the best actors in this movie. And they try to justify his actions by showing like flashbacks to his past and what happened. Like his girlfriend or something got killed by the aliens. He has marks on his body. He's been tortured by them. But he has this, and so part of this defense of this Nazi idealism about him, where It doesn't matter if the Greys, as they call them, are their allies or not. They all need to die. He's been doing experiments, torturing. There's this family of of the Greys that are with him, and it's real. They've been locked away. Uh, it's just he's terrible, and like they do this thing with him that just doesn't make any sense to me. So they have him overthrown because Amelia tells him what he's been doing down there. That he's that he can't do this and stuff can happen, and so this captain turns on him and they tie him and his other subordinate up, and then they leave. Like Amelia and this captain guy leave, and then like he's there, he's being tied up, and they go to talk to this lady, this alien queen, and there's like, hey, all he has to do is he's like, hey, and he's let loose and he's back in command, and I'm like, what was the point of overthrowing him then? If you're just gonna do that, like it feels like even though the captain overthrew him, people still wanted to follow his command, which leads to some problems towards the end where they find out about Rainfall and they're gonna unleash this bioweapon that will destroy the aliens, but it doesn't differentiate, so all their allies will die too. And in a species there are innocent people and there's people that aren't, and so yeah, they also introduced these aliens called the Kalai. I'm not exactly sure what they're supposed to be, like the higher ups maybe. They revealed that Gary, who is one of their allies, is a former Kalai. He's a Kalai, and he's formerly one. He's not part of it anymore, I guess. But yeah, back to the commander before I move on to other stuff, I guess. I don't know. And when he died, that's the biggest cheer ever. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Deserves to die for everything he's been doing in this movie. Fucking, and you could tell that they were doing something, because the first scene of him, he's sitting there smoking a cigarette. Like, the first time I saw him, I'm like, fucking, they're gonna this kind of character. I know they're gonna do something with this fucking character. It's the way he was acting and stuff. And they do have a journey with Matt where he still doesn't trust the aliens. He thinks all Greys are bad, and that leads into the end where this thing shoots into space. It's a ship that's part of the cliffhanger, and Gary's hanging out, and he's like, and pulls him in. So now he trusts him, I guess. I also want to point out we have Ken Jeong in this film with another alien named Steve who has a fake mustache. They take it off of him pretty quick, so that's cool. The mustache kind of was like, what? Why are you doing this? But like, I found him to be. I love Ken Jeong. He's great in the Hangover movies, but I found him to be annoying here. He and Steve's bickering. Excuse me, just like. By the way, Steve is apparently voiced by Jason Isaacs, and I couldn't tell at all until I looked at the credits. I'm like, that's Jason Isaacs? Okay. But it's like, I don't know. I didn't particularly care for Ken Jeong. I wouldn't mind him coming back, but just like, I felt like most of his comedy stuff was ad-libbing. Like, there's this one where they're in the middle of this battle, and he's like, can I check my email? That felt like an ad-lib, because, like, who emails anyone? There's an alien invasion. I don't know. Yeah, when the movie starts, Matt and Amelia are not together anymore, and apparently this has hurt her so much she turned into a different actress. Yeah, they recast Amelia in this, and she's fine, but I did like the other actress better. Just when she came on the screen, I'm like, okay, is this? And they go, yeah, Amelia. I'm like, that's Amelia? I mean, I saw her on the cover, but I didn't think that was Amelia. I thought it was someone else. But it is Amelia. They just recast her for some reason. I don't know why. But she's fine, like I said. And they split the time between her and Matt. And she's doing one thing. She has this older gentleman with her. He ends up getting killed by the aliens. And then you have Matt with Gary and eventually Bella. It's Matt, Gary, and Marcus, Amelia's brother, and they're going on this mission. And they meet up with Peter, who, if you remember, is Tamara Morrison, who's in this movie less than he was in the first one, but he's good in the role. There's a scene where he is down fighting these aliens, and he has these tanks of propane. Ho ho ho! And he turns on the thing, rolls the thing, shoots at it, blows up a couple of the aliens. And this alien comes walking out and he's on fire and he just falls. It's like, yeah. Like he killed the alien, he's still a badass. Boba Fett got game. So yeah, there's some great action scenes in this, I think. Some good action scenes. The CGI is better than it was in the first one, so they've leveled up a little bit on that, especially for a direct-to-video film. There's not much to say. I liked the movie for the most part, but the biggest problem I had was the human antagonist that was just unnecessary. You have aliens, and you feel like you need to push in a human antagonist, and it's all for a message, really, that kind of started in the first one. It's continuing in this one, where it's the message where, well, the Greys may be aliens, but not all of them are bad, and it just I feel like they did fine with that kind of message in the first one. They didn't overdo it. They overdid it here. And so I feel like when it comes to this movie, it's gonna get a middle of the road, because while I enjoyed like the action sequences and the characters overall, most of them, I don't know. That's just a big on this movie. It wasn't necessary to do it, and I could tell that's what they were doing from the moment they showed him on screen. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be my big problem, because the way his attitude is, I know, and it kept going. It got worse and worse and worse and worse, and yeah. So it's the middle of the road. But what are your thoughts on Occupation Rainfall? In the comments below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna rank these. I got all the physical ones stacked here, and then I also have the list, because there's ones that were just the streaming. But yeah. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one. Like I said.